Developed by Guerrilla Games, Horizon Zero Dawn is the latest in open sandbox apocalypse games. Set in the distant future, this sci-fi action-adventure sees mankind devolved back to its tribal roots in a land now filled with mechanical monsters. So what did I think of this game? Well, let's start with the main character, Aloy. I like that she had some real personality to her. It seemed like even though the whole world was constantly against her, she always managed to prove herself over and over again. She had spent her whole life training for this very reason, knowing that nothing was ever going to be given to her on a plate. She was a tough leading character with a sense of humour and a simple mission: find out where she came from, and nothing was going to stop her from reaching that goal.
I'd do that again, if it weren't so much work to get back up there.
Now, rumour has it that she's going to be the next big face of PlayStation, and if that's the case, then good for her. She'll make a worthy replacement for Nathan Drake. You even got the chance to do a bit of role-playing and choose how she would respond to certain situations. Unfortunately, before starting the game, I was led to believe that some of these choices could affect whether you got a particular bronze trophy or not, something which turned out to be not the case. But it meant that I always ended up choosing the nice, fuzzy Care Bear option, rather than some of the more interesting, tough or intelligent choices. It's not really a fault of the game, but just the fault of a dodgy trophy description.
You've obviously heard of me. You know what I'm capable of. Why do you think this will turn out well for you?
I like the odds. Get her!
I did, however, find Aloy to be the only interesting character. Sure, you had her father figure and the drunk Mohawk guy, but no one else was really that memorable. Not when it came to characters, that is. The world, on the other hand, was awesome. Now, I am going to admit that I am starting to suffer a little bit from open world fatigue. I'm sick of climbing radio towers to uncover more of the map, or trying to work out if a collectible is on top of a mountain or in a cave somewhere beneath it. But in Horizon, the world is such a beautiful, unique environment, packed with tons of personality and life, that it was a great place to find yourself getting lost in. It was a fusion of the old and the new, nature and machine. One quick tip that I'd give to any new players is turn the HUD option in the menu to dynamic mode so you can really get the most out of the scenery. It doesn't matter whether you're in the desert, icy mountains or thick green rainforests, the game moulded all of these unique settings together and always provided something interesting for you to look at. In fact, I think now is a good time to show off my art gallery of screenshots that I took using the game's photo mode. Being set in a sort of Stone Age setting meant that you had to think like a hunter in order to take down these mecha Godzillas. You were armed with bows, slingshots, ropes and spears. I began off in very hard difficulty, as I always do when I start a game, but I actually found that this slightly ruined the experience for me. Not because it was too hard or anything like that. In fact, I found that I played the game in a much stealthier fashion when I was in the highest difficulty. And with the sneak attacks and the critical hits, it brought back fond memories of another franchise that also has stealth and giant metal robots. Metal Gear? Nah, I forget his name. Anyway, what's so good about the combat here is the opportunity it gives you to plan ahead. You can set up traps, scan the opponents to work out their weaknesses, shoot out their gas tanks with fire arrows, or peel off their own guns to then pick up and use against them. And I found that all of this was much more possible in the lower difficulties, and added an extra layer of strategy that made fighting the biggest, most badass metal monsters a hell of a lot of fun. Horizon Zero Dawn did a great job of not just providing a big sandbox with a ton of stuff to do in it. Instead, it had thought and imagination put into everything to form a rich, memorable world with an extensive, in-depth lore and an intriguing story. Even though mechanically it felt very similar to a lot of other games, it did everything with such a high level of polish and creativity that it felt like something totally new. Anyway, those are just some of my thoughts on the game, but what do you think? Is anyone else out there suffering from that open world fatigue? And how do you think Horizon Zero Dawn compares to some of the other sandbox games out there? Next time I'm going to try and dig up a smaller independent title to have a look at, but until then, thanks for watching.